One approach, one strategy I leverage in my business is live streaming.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Strategy Show. I'm your host, Simon Severino. This episode is brought to you by the Strategy Sprints. At Strategy Sprints, we do only one thing: strategy in sprints. Strategy means growing your revenue to a predictable, reliable monthly income that you like. And sprints means fast execution and motivated teams, because short project cycles enable them to celebrate progress every week, and they need it because they get motivation for the next sprint. So every week we try to bring you people leading their fields, and today I was able to win Kyshira Moffett. Hi, Kyshira.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Super pumped to have you here, because Kyshira will share with us a super tool. One thing where I don't hear anybody talking about this, it is one lead generation tactic, we can say, or even a strategy, because she has a whole funnel laid out and a complete strategic approach to this. And she generates leads with one thing that she will tell us right now. It is so undervalued and it's so practicable, and she's doing it so well. So, Kyshira, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so one approach, one strategy I leverage in my business is live streaming. And live streaming, though it's been around for a number of years now, is still, in my opinion, virtually untapped by a lot of business owners. And it is still one of the best ways to drive qualified leads for your business, but also organic leads for your business. So you can start to save a little bit on that ad spend by leveraging live streaming. And so many more platforms now have it, like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter Live, Facebook Live. There are so many different options for you. And I teach it all the time to my clients, and they've seen a lot of amazing results as well.
Oh, you can do even LinkedIn Live? I thought just 10 people in the world are able to do that.
So for LinkedIn Live, they're still testing it out. So they've rolled out an application. So you can apply to be a live streamer on LinkedIn, which is what I did. It took about 2 months to get the approval. But once you do, they actually send you like a best practices kit on how to get the most ROI on your live streaming. It is important to note that with LinkedIn, the reason why everyone doesn't have access yet is because LinkedIn doesn't have their own API to run live streaming. So what I mean by that is if you open up Facebook or Instagram, you can just press go live. On LinkedIn, we don't have that option. We have to use a third-party streaming tool. So for example, I use a tool called Restream. There's also StreamYard. There's maybe like 10 or so that integrate with LinkedIn and other platforms. And so LinkedIn says, here's the only ones you can use, sync it to your account, and when you go live, it will now, appear on your feed and on your profile. And so the nice part, though, about how they did that is it exposed us to new tools. So now when I go live across multiple platforms from my computer. So when I use Restream, for example, and I'm not necessarily advocating it, I do think there's some kinks with it. So there's other options, but I'm able to stream on my Facebook page and in my Facebook group and on Periscope and on LinkedIn and on YouTube, all from my computer. And then I normally just have my phone up on the side to stream on Instagram.
Beautiful. So the goal is to generate qualified leads, so the right people who really are the right ones for your offering.
You want to make your sales more repeatable and reliable? Do you want to have less volatility and more growth in your revenue per month? At Strategy Sprints, we do only one thing: strategy in sprints. Strategy means having more revenue through a better offer. In sprints means having more energy in your team every week. Check out if your ROI is as high as it is for most service-based and online businesses and startups we work with, which is over 100%. You can see it in just 15 minutes by going to strategysprints.com/sales and completing our online exercise to know what your ROI would be with our accelerator program. We are ready to sprint. Are you?
And walk us through the nitty-gritty. What do you do first? How do you prepare for it? What do you have to take care of? What's your...
Yes, absolutely. So when we are getting ready to think about how should we approach live streaming, it's one of those things where you still need to have your sales strategy and your plan. So envision if you were using one of the traditional funnels, which is typically run an ad, have a webinar, do some emails. That's your funnel, right? So typically what I tell people to do is take those webinars and chop those up into bite-sized live stream pieces. Take those email funnels and do the same thing. For most people that I coach, they already have the content, but they've never thought about delivering it in a micro content form, right? And so when we do our live streams, our goal is to not teach all of our content on live stream. Our goal is to educate our customers on why the pain point we know they have needs to be the priority. We need to do some mindset shifts, some myth busting, and introducing our offer and getting them to go through the funnel, but doing it live versus having to wait that 2 to 3 weeks that the funnel normally runs to see if it actually works. And so I always mention that because even though it sounds so simple, most people make the mistake of getting on live stream and teaching their content. Right? They get on live, they do these 2-hour-long trainings, and at the end are like, why didn't I get any money? Why didn't I get any leads? Well, you didn't really give us a reason to pay you because you didn't keep anything behind the paywall, right? And so I like to transition the complex funnels we've built. Let's flip that and put it on live. And people may be saying, well, why? Why should I do that? Because the results will come faster. It will actually speed up the time that it takes someone to convert because there's literal proof that video builds trust faster. In fact, I pulled up just a couple of stats for people because, I used to coach MBA students in my career. And so you always have to back up what you were saying with data. So I still do that to this day. But thinking about how this works, according to renderforest.com from last year, businesses who use video grew 49% faster than non-video users. Businesses who use video receive 41% more web traffic than non-video users. And businesses who use video receive 66% more qualified leads than those who didn't. And so think about also the time you waste with non-qualified leads, or how much money you waste with having a lot of non-qualified leads in your email database.
Beautiful. So instead of creating 7 emails and then telling your system to send them out every 2 days, wait so long, and you don't know if it's really valuable, what the response is, if they're doing it, how they're feeling, if they have questions, you slice them up, and basically the value that you would give in 1 email or 2, you make it live.
Yes. And you get instant feedback, right? That's the other nice part. You get people literally telling you right then and there if they get it, if they understand, if they're moved to action. You get their questions right away. And so actually what I like to do is when I have videos that perform really well, people are really into it, those are the ones that I then convert into emails and that I then convert into other content. I actually flip it the other way around because it's instant reaction. If you get a ton of people watching your live stream and then they all dip off, then you know that content isn't really hitting, right? Versus you have 1,000 people going through an email funnel and you won't know until 3 weeks from now if that email funnel just isn't the best. And so that's how I actually like to leverage it. And it's also nice too, because I'm not saying eliminate your email funnels. I still use email marketing a lot, but even in my email marketing, I now, again, pull from my best live content, but then I also reference my video. So I frequently will hyperlink to go watch the replay of this, go watch this video from before, because that gets people to, again, this is more than you just reading an email. Now you get to see me, hear me, see how I move, how I communicate. You can also leave comments. You can see what other people have said about me or about my business. And then people also like to binge content, right? So thinking about your videos, if your videos are good, people will continue to watch. And so when I redirect them to my Facebook page or maybe to Instagram TV, I'm now going to help speed up the time for them to buy even more, because they don't have to wait for the next email to want to take action. They can go and binge 2 or 3 videos and be really moved and want to book a call with me.
Beautiful. let's back up a little bit because some of our listeners don't know what a funnel is. So when we say a funnel, we mean the design of a user experience which starts with them not knowing you, having a first awareness of you, and then you nurture the relationship, you build trust, you give value, you get interactive, and from there you build a relationship that later will lead to conversion, to buying your products. Now, when I hear you, I hear that you have a full funnel and that this is one part, so you know where to move from there. Can you give us a short overview of the whole funnel? Then we go deep.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two approaches. Well, three approaches I have to Facebook Lives, and I'm just going to say Facebook Live, but know that I mean every live stream I've ever done. The first is if I am starting a new sales cycle, right? I'm getting ready. I'm trying to ramp my audience up and I'm getting them excited for something that's coming. Typically, the only thing I direct people to do for my lives is just get into my private community, because within my private community, I'm able to do just a little bit more, which Facebook groups is a whole other episode, right? So I'm able to get them into the community. And I always like to do that as my warm up, because that's an easy, low risk invitation, right? I'm not asking you for your information yet. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm just, hey, come get in the community, come network. Let's talk a little bit more. And of course, in the community, I'm able to just have a little bit more access. And, quick little tip for those of you that don't use Facebook groups yet, Facebook has the option where you can have membership questions that people have to answer to get into your group, which is another way to generate leads. But through those questions, I'm able to learn a lot more about the people who are actually taking action from me. So I'm able to learn a little bit about their businesses and their pain points. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I would tell people to do is I would direct them to a particular free resource. So depending upon what I'm promoting, instead of just directing them straight to a sales page or straight to an offer, I instead direct them to a related free resource. And that could be a masterclass, that could be a downloadable, an ebook, doesn't really matter, a case study. But I direct them to another free resource because, again, warming them up. Now, the thing is, if I am in the midst of a launch, then that free resource will kick off an email funnel that was created through repurposed live streams, right? That also reference those live streams, but it'll kick off that funnel. And then the third thing that I do is I direct people straight to my calendar to book a consultation. So if I'm in the middle or at the end of a launch, I rarely send people straight to a sales page. Instead, I send them to my calendar and I say, if you've been resonating with what we've been talking about in our series and what's going on, you need to book a call with me so that we can talk a little bit more in detail. And I find it interesting that people respond very well to going directly to the calendar, because after watching a handful of live streams, they know me. They like me, and because my content is great, they trust me, and they're immediately moved to action. Now, obviously, my content needs to be good to command that kind of result, but it's also helped me to realize that I don't have to do a lot of complex advertising to fill client seats. If I can do a handful of really powerful live streams and invite someone directly to my Acuity scheduling and sell them over the phone, I save time and I save money.
Cool.
We all know that working in sprints is better, but how do we know what we should work on? You're in luck, because we have a 15-minute exercise that will give you complete clarity on where to take your project next. Go to strategysprints.com/sales to complete our short exercise and meet one-on-one with an expert sprint coach to identify your number one bottleneck. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that episode of The Strategy Show. Make sure to like this video below and subscribe so that you can stay up to date with every episode of The Strategy Show. Get daily CEO tips from CEOs for CEOs.